Hello everyone. Today I will be going over Founder's feats and then trying to power scale him. I will not be taking any of my lore into account because that would make him way too high. So we have Super Smash Bros. In the background because who doesn't like Super Smash Bros? Either way, let's begin. At the start of the series, he crippled Godzilla just with telekinesis, and then stole the Chaos Emerald from BioLizard. That means, and since, as I later said, all the kaiju are 75% the power of their movie or show counterparts, that means at least, like, maybe planet or star level around there. Since I'm pretty sure Multiverse is around dwarf star level. And then BioLizard. That compares to Sonic and Shadow in their super forms, and those and Sonic on his own took down Chaos, who was going to flood and destroy the planet. So around planet level as well, so I would say. I'm trying not to go too high with the feats, but then again, I'm not good. I've never really done power scaling, so this will be my first time. So far he's around, like, planetary, large planet level. Next, the Founder attacked BioLizard. Oh yeah, Founder basically mind-controlled BioLizard. And which basically boosted it enough to be able to do well against the two Godzillas. And then, of course, there was the mech that had also survived. And then, kind of, Supersonic just came in and blew off the core. Then, the Godzillas blasted away the bad energy. But he also knocked Shadow out of his super form just by grabbing him, basically choking him a bit, and then robbed him of the emeralds, and once again mind-controlled BioLizard. He took down a horde of dinosaurs in the Dinosaur Emerald episode. He took out Shadow and a magic-infused statue, not Shadow, magic-infused statue. So, yeah, for another emerald. He insta-killed two Triceratops. So none of these are really adding much to it. Oh yeah, he created, in the Cruel Virus episode, he turned Scar King to his side with that thing, so I don't know what we call that. Scar King basically scales to Kong, Kong scales to Godzilla, and we know where that leads us. Planetary. And he took down Legolas, a skilled king of the Lego Alliance, but, since Legolas had nothing really to scale to because he's a made-up character, yeah, that we'll just go with, like, building level, and of course, that does not help much. But here, he basically took down the embodiment of death of his universe. Which, that is definitely going to be good. Enough for me to say, probably boost him up to at least solar system. The embodiment of freaking death. But you could probably get him to, you could maybe even get him to universal if we're thinking embodiment of death, because it's death. So we'll just go with, like, I don't know, Galaxy or something. What's going on? Yeah, sorry about that. Either way, he also... Actually, I need to pause this for one moment. Yeah, so sorry about that. Either way, next is, you reflected the energy beam from Energized Godzilla, and of course hit Kong. Took a point-blank energy beam. Caught a full-speed charging Shimo, which is like a whole lot of tons. And then basically just did, Kong's punch did nothing. And again, these are still, you know, the, kaiju, so we're sticking with our galaxy level. Beat Scar King, took another point-blank Evolved Godzilla beam, energized. Then he took down 3 Evolved Godzilla beams and Voidzillas. Yeah, sorry about that, they were just little siblings. So either way, that's another, like, 3 around the planetary to star level. So I'm pretty sure that still fits under Galaxy. But then Voidzilla, one of my own custom Godzillas. And he is... well, he's basically the soul of a black hole taking on the shell of Godzilla, so... That's definitely black hole level. But it basically took a black hole, turning the black hole into a laser beam to the face, then overpowered it with his own laser beam with near ease, and then nearly killed the guy, so... I'm not sure if we can get into Universal yet. Took down Kong from the future, the current evolved and everything. Oh yeah, survived being charged at from Mothra, and actually had the durability to survive being blasted, but the laser beam was weaker. Took down the future Kong, current evolved, supercharged Godzilla, and current charged Shimo. Basically, when Shimo was all purple energized, and when evolved is in his supercharged state. Took down Legolas again, plus Shimo and Scar King teaming up. And they both did charge at him, but Founder threw them both at the same time. This guy is definitely strong. Defeated a weirdly overpowered super battle droid. Took down the Dino Legion leader, not adding much. Took down a bounty hunter, but this one's weapon. You see, this is the first time Founder actually brought out his own weapons. That's about as much that this bounty hunter scared him. Or at least the weapon that he had. Took down the shapeshifter Godzilla that turned from normal old legendary to Shin to Earth, and he also used a crystal shield, which is made from the energy that the Crystal Planet, which basically the entire series takes place in. Crystal Planet, I'll get to the lore at the end of the video. He also used telekinesis to bury the shapeshifter Godzilla. Survived explosion from the bounty hunter's bike, because why not? We love explosions here. Defeated a weaker Mothra, Rodan, Ghidorah, and scared off the embodiment of death who had returned. But, you know, scared him off. Defeated Kiryu, but got hit with Tranquilizer, and Kiryu's self-destruct basically buried them. Now, we are almost 10 minutes in. Let's see. Oh yeah, then Dragonborn knocks out Death, but is then quickly defeated by Founder. The second time that Founder used his own weapons, Founder turns into his more close-ranged adept form. Warforged Founder, who then just obliterated the Dragonborn. Founder defeats Drowned Viper, another scaling to Kong, and we know how that goes, so yeah. Still sticking to Galaxy, I'd say. Survive being bit by it, but yeah, that doesn't help. And then took down a group of human guards. Defeats the Soldiers of the Eye, which are boosted by his own energy. And then survives an explosion that they had ready if they are defeated. Then Founder fights Peltia and Dialga. Basically getting killed, but if he can scare off the embodiment of death, he could probably walk out of the underworld, which he basically does. And to that we say... I still don't feel like we haven't... Well, maybe it's Universal because of Peltia and Dialga, because they at least kinda sailed Arceus, since they... I mean... Not really, they really were just getting completely obliterated by him in the movie, but we'll just say this puts him at Universal finally. And here we get to the better stuff. Founder defeats Kronos, the embodiment of time, and then Technos, the embodiment of technology. And even though Technos got a cheap shot on him, I do very much think that puts him at Multiversal, but we'll keep looking. Defeats Darkchaos, the embodiment of shadow and darkness, along with the embodiment of light. I have the good names of placeholders, purity. Defeats is physical match, the embodiment of balance, in hand-to-hand combat, as in the embodiment made to be his equal physically, and beat him physically. Now, you know Founder ain't someone to mess with. I think he's multiversal at this point, but just in case you don't like that, he also gives destruction and creation. His creators, by the way, a little bit of a challenge, but he kind of escapes because he knows he can't take them down at this point. Then Founder defeats Supersonic and Super Shadow. And last time I checked, like, Supersonic and Super Shadow, much older, a little bit of help from Silver, could take down, like, a 5-dimensional entity, and then that kind of only got stronger and stronger, plus, of course, their team up. So, yeah, then defeats Metal Sonic, then another Metal Sonic, then Knuckles, Tails, Cyclone Mech, Then he defeated these two things. There, that doesn't really help him too much. Defeats Amy, which was probably a big mistake. Survives being basically ran over by Shadow's bike. Throws the Bio Lizard, but is outmatched by a Sonic and Shadow fusion. Shattuck, if you want to call him that, but who cares? Oh yeah, Founder also literally scared Death into reviving Amy to try and calm down. Sonic, so yeah. Then destroys 2 more Metal Sonics. Starts to overpower Shattuck, but knocks out a distracted Super Sonic, because Amy was revived, they unfused, Super Sonic was distracted, and Founder knocked him out. Amy gets a Metal Sonic, like, exosuit thing And Founder takes hits from it, and Shadow, and also defeats Amy. Again. Oh wait, nope, no, I already flipped it over. Founder survives an hour of basically not even being able to be fast enough to react to Sonic's attacks. And he also had the exosuit, which this version was made by Neo Metal Sonic pieces. So, yay! He almost overpowers Sonic, but is distracted by Shadow. Founder defeats Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and their Zords. Defeats a Warden, survives a Creeper, and defeats a Skeleton and a Bee, plus the Ender Dragon and an invisible skeleton dino, plus a Carnotaurus thingy. I'm sticking with Multiversal for now. Defeats Knuckles and Tails, again. Another Warden, plus a huge Godzilla, but doesn't actually defeat it. Fights Sonic and Shadow. Killed by Founded Gojira. Not because he's Founder, he doesn't die, especially not to anything who uses his own energy against him. Survived explosion from overloaded tech, which Tails made and was overloaded just by the energy readings of the Nexus Core. Founder mocks them by literally telling them when he's going to attack. When they ask why, his simple answer is, "I like a challenge." So yeah, now he's mocking them. Then all the troops from the Lego, Kaiju, Pokemon, and Karn Alliance are destroyed, but that's kind of a bit later on. Defeats Shadow and mocks Maria. Defeats Legolas again for like the third time. Beats Spider-Man with, even though it has Siege Steel, which is the only metal capable of doing permanent damage to one of the embodiments. And I don't think I've mentioned what Founder is the embodiment of yet. But if you watch the finale and pay attention to some of the text, then you'll figure it out. But just to put it simply, he's the embodiment of power itself. He has all sorts of powers. And no, I did not know whatever the guy that inspired Goku was before I created this guy. Sun Wukong or something. I think that was it. Either way, I had no idea of existence before I chose embodiment of power, so you can't blame me. Let's see. What else do we have? Fights some Pokemon, Kiryu again, Shin Godzilla, Earth Godzilla, and Monsterverse Godzilla. Fights Palkia, wins. Track the title screen, which is like fourth wall annoyance. Destroys the Master Emerald. Creates a form of Tails to fight Sonic and Knuckles. Shadow accidentally frees Cruelty Shadow. Founder kills the Chaos Emerald boosted Metal Sonic, but a Dark Blur steals the Emerald before Founder can take it. Dodges Knuckles while mocking him with slow, sloppy, sad. Is that... I can't hear that. Either way. Oh, yeah! He destroys a mech that is made of mostly siege steel, and the bullets are also made of mainly siege steel. Destroys the dinosaur army. Oh yeah, beats a group of rebels in a single frame. Fights a metal-suited Super Shadow, the metal exosuit, and Supersonic, who had stolen the Dragonborn's armor. Founders fights at Terror Reality, which had also allowed some more variants, like a variant of Supersonic, a variant of Tails, a variant of Knuckles, a variant of Amy. He also fights Light, Dark, Tech, Time, Balance, and Death. Defeats more Kaiju and drains the energy out of Founder Gojira. So much that he's just gone. There's no more Founder Gojira. And then Founder is nearly defeated by a vengeful Doug, but survives. Also, I think I might need more time. So, yeah. Sorry, I needed a bit more time. Next, Founder, having reached his final... for now. Who knows what'll happen in Season 2. His final form takes down Thor and Vader with mechs, but he leaves because basically he doesn't feel like wasting his time with them. Founder again fights the Algon Palkia, along with Pikachu and Zapdos, defeating them, and a Solgaleo/Lucario team up. He also destroys a fire truck. And then Cruelty Shadow arrives. And Founder was forced to use a portal right in front of Cruelty Shadow, so he ran in and then closed the portal just to give him enough time to escape. Founder is then stabbed in the back, but survives. Founder fights the Battle Droid, Mega Charizard, Swampert, and Kyurem. Winning, and he then defeats the son of Biolizard. And then the Nexus Core is drained to Biolizard. And Biolizard beats up Founder, basically. It starts fighting Shadow. Not Biolizard. It. I'm not spoiling what it is. And Sea Shadow. Cruelty Shadow for Cruelty Shadow. Scaring them off. It breaks the fourth wall. Also, anything it can do, Founder is able to do as well. For a few seconds. It throws a Karn around 24 feet and kills the Dino Legion leader. Again, why does poor dinosaur? Plus nearly everyone present in an instant. Short of the embodiments by Lizard and the pesky hedgehogs. Then takes down a few embodiments. Shadow starts wrecking it, but is put into a corner. It uses a time freeze ability. Gojira's rage brought him back to life and he attacks it. Throws Founded Gojira, kills Sonic and Biolizard. But then Founder comes along holding the Nexus Core. You know where this is going. It destroys it, bringing everyone back, and then destroying, which also destroyed himself along with it. But he also breaks the fourth wall before being destroyed. But he also, you are in his point of view for a few seconds until he literally kicks you out himself. It wasn't me, it was him. And then we go to Season 2, and just a Sharda founder got past the trials of the Emeralds to obtain the Nexus Emeralds, or Shadow. And just to elaborate, the Nexus Emeralds, think of each one like a Master Emerald, except there's 7 of them, and it's like 7 Master Emeralds equal 1 of these Nexus Emeralds. So basically they are very powerful, and I'll probably make a short mini-series on the Sharda founder defeating these trials and gaining these emeralds. And then, you know, when he first met Shadow, Cruelty Shadow, Shadow runs at him to ask him, wait, what do you know about Echo? But he's gone. Lots of people think that was teleportation. It was not. He literally ran so fast you could not even see him. Yeah, I think even the likes of the viewers and Shadow thought he teleported. So yeah, that's all of it. And I think as my overall score, I gotta give Founder a good multiversal. I don't think, unless we're taking in some lore stuff, I'm not putting him in Outerversal or Omniversal. But he is very strong. He does. But here's the thing. Lots of you probably wonder why he always just fights. He doesn't seem to really be a strategist. That is because he's the embodiment of power. He may be power in a controlled state, and his opposite, who is also the embodiment of power, which is also the embodiment of chaos, which is why his name is Chaos. And Founder, since he's the opposite of that, he's like orderly power. Technically, he isn't really Founder, he's more Order. That's what his name should be, but if Founder sounds better. And if we're gonna give them named opposites, then we would have to call Chaos Imitator or something, some sort of opposite to Founder. So yeah, I don't want to deal with that. So he is multiversal, highly durable, high offense, and very fast, even if it's just a mere shard of his energy. Any questions? No? Thanks for watching, please subscribe, and that's about it. Like the video.